Could you live in a world without crime? Or where crime was reduced to such a de minimis level that you didn't even recognize it? Oh, there would be occasional little thefts here and there, but the real crime that we're talking about, this horrible, frightening crime, could you live in a world where you did not have that? Could you live in a world where that was gone? It was just missing. Where you look back and say, "Do you remember when that happened? Do you remember this?" The future will not ever be a place where surveillance fades into the background. It's always going to be here. I mean, it's here now. It's not going to shrink. We talk about Palantir. We talk about predictive programming. We talk about so many things, but it will not politely step aside. It is already here. It is surrounding us in every conceivable direction. Metadata, surveillance, and information warfare you can't even conceive of. It's woven into every digital gesture we make, everything. Cameras on streets, CCTV, everywhere, sensors in doorbells, rings, trackers in phones, metadata in every swipe and scroll, everything you do. Even if someone wanted to resist it, the truth is simple. The infrastructure is already here. It's already built, period. And the watching has already begun. And no amount of wishing or referencing Orwell or dystopian reactions, none of that's going to turn the clock back at all to some romantic era of perfect privacy where we had officer friendly on the corner, where we actually had search warrants and wiretaps. So the real question becomes unavoidable. If we cannot escape being observed, can the observation finally begin serving us? Can the endless monitoring become something more than, passive data or data harvesting for corporations and bureaucrats? Could it possibly, and can it possibly evolve into a shield, a protective force that we control, a civic immune system that actually gives something back to the citizens who are constantly feeding it? Because once society admits the truth, the conversation becomes far more interesting. So we're going to be looking at something right now which nobody ever talks about, and that is accepting surveillance, accepting the Palantirs, accepting this, but recognizing that there's really nothing we can do. And since there's nothing we can do, why not utilize it? Now, before we actually get into this, I want to remind you of something very, very, very critical here, my dear friends. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Remember what I'm saying right now. 'Tis the season. And right now, this Christmas time, and I say Christmas, not holidays. I'm sure there's Hanukkah and Kwanzaa good for you. I call it Christmas. Sorry. It's what I do. But this Christmas is no time, my friends, for complacency. Not with the world as fragile as it is. And if you don't think it's fragile, you're just not paying attention. Now, give the gift to someone you love, a gift that actually matters this year. The one thing every family needs, but too few take seriously: real, tangible food security. And right now, our friends at My Patriot Supply are running a deal that is almost impossible to ignore. It's their buy one, gift two Christmas special. Buy one, gift two. And you need to hear this clearly. All month long, when you pick up a 4-week emergency food kit, they will send you 2 additional 1-week food kits absolutely free. No strings, no gimmicks, no nothing. You secure your household's backup supply, and you instantly have 2 life-saving gifts to hand to people you care about. Those 1-week kits are perfect for anyone already into preparedness or anyone who needs that wake-up call, kind of that nudge, you know what I mean? One small box can turn someone from vulnerable to ready. In times like these, my friends, that matters more than you know. And we all feel tension. We all feel scared, and we should. All this stuff going on in the air right now. We all see how quickly shelves empty when the unexpected hits. Having food put away is no longer fringe. It is responsible. It is sane. And this buy one, gift two deal means you are protecting yourself while giving meaningful Christmas gifts that genuinely help others stay safe. Do not wait on this. This offer is only here for the holiday season, and once it's gone, it's gone. So go right now to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. I will have the link in the description section here, preparewithlionel.com. It is so wise. That's, one more time, preparewithlionel.com. And thank you for your attention to that. And I want to explain that tonight's version is not necessarily, tonight's subject matter is not some kind of a capitulation. I'm not giving in. But for the longest time, a lot of people, myself included, we just say that, well, Minority Report. Well, what's wrong with the Minority Report? There is a little something to be said for the maxim that says, well, if you're not doing anything, you've got nothing to hide. There's a little truth to that. If I'm not robbing people, what do I care if you've got cameras everywhere? If we know that there are individuals, people that we can target who are committing all of the crimes. You see, my friends, the future will not be a place where surveillance fades away. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to shrink. It's not going to step aside and say, oh, my mistake. We're going to fix this. And with AI, forget it. It's here, surrounding you in every direction, woven into every digital everything that you have. It's like nothing you've seen. And no amount of wishing is going to turn back the clock again into some leave it to beaver world that doesn't exist. So the real question becomes simply this. It's unavoidable. If we cannot escape being observed, fine. Can we at least have the observation finally begin benefiting us and serving us? Can this endless monitoring actually become something more than just some passive data vacuuming, harvesting for bureaucrats and corporations? Can we somehow take this surveillance and evolve it into a shield to get these bastards? We know, and if you turn Palantir loose, we can say, listen, we're giving you a lot of credit here. I know people scream about Palantir, but I can give you the name of 1,000 individuals, 1,000 people. In the city of New York, there may be 500 people, 500 that commit 90% of the crimes. The world, how do we say this? The world is more safe than you think, but we are being victimized by the same people at a greater rate. Does that make any sense? Do you understand what's happening here? This is beyond serious. See, we need a civic immune system, like a vaccination system that actually gives something back to the citizens. Something back who are constantly feeding it. Because once society admits the truth, then this conversation begins to become far more honest. I'm going to say this again. You're being watched. You're already in the system. You're here. So you might as well receive the benefit of it. Now, this isn't capitulation. It's realism. I'm realistic. In the coming decades, the future will adopt this logic, not because governments force it, but because people demand it. And criminals are getting sicker and weirder. And because of being watched, oddly enough, it actually increases the frequency of what they're doing. No one wants to live in fear. No one wants to guess whether they're going to be the next victim, whether the street outside is safe. No one wants this. You don't want to wonder whether crime is waiting around the corner. If the machinery of surveillance is already humming 24 hours a day, fine. The next step is obvious. Turn the watchers into guardians. Redirect the vision. Transform this system from, silent observer into active protector. Use it to benefit us. When some woman, there was a woman today who was hit by some idiot, zoom in, use all that Beijing Chinese face recognition and get the bastard. And then go in and tell people, we are going to get tough. We're not going to have 3 strikes, you're out. We're going to change the judge's ability to aggravate the sentences based upon the severity of the event. Show them this. In the old days, you got any priors? Okay, probation. No. Charles Manson didn't have any priors, theoretically. I don't think he killed anybody, but just because somebody didn't have any priors, that's not it. Imagine a world where predictive technology works like medical imaging, a kind of a social X-ray that identifies danger the same way scans identify tumors before they grow. You're not punished. You're protected. You're not targeted. You are insulated from harm from these other people, the tumors of society. Instead of waiting for violence, the system steps in early, the way a doctor intervenes before some condition worsens. And it reads patterns, the way a cardiologist reads heart rhythms or LDL levels. It sees instability forming before it erupts, and it acts before you ever feel the shock. Think about what I'm saying. In this future that I speak of, which could be now, the concept of policing becomes smoother, calmer, more precise. The armored officers of tomorrow are not instruments of fear. They're instruments of certainty. They appear when needed, not as threats, but as assurances. They represent the promise that nothing chaotic will be allowed to exist. Nothing chaotic or bad will be allowed to spiral out of control. See, their presence, all of this surveillance, inspires confidence because they arrive not through guesswork, but through near-perfect forecasting. They're guided by systems and tracking, and once we know who this person is, then we go in for the kill. There is no such thing as somebody who has been released from prison for 15 times. It's no more. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. That's the second tier. That's the second part. We want to live in a system that says whatever you do not piss these people off. Whatever you do. That's my goal. Do not do it. Do not do it. If you go up and you clobber somebody for the first time, I'm not going to reward you because it was the first time. What does that mean? Chances are you probably did it before and weren't caught. We want to be guided by systems that interpret risk with a level of clarity no human intuition could match. If I could sit there and I could say, all right, Teal, give me an idea. Who are these people? Where are they from? Where do they live? What is their race, their height, their weight, their age, their income? What do they do? What is their name? Put in all this metadata. Tell me what you can find. Here are the people. Give me the top 50. Top 50 to look at. Go after them. Get them. Get them. Sit there and wait. They're committing all the crimes. Wait. Have a task force go after each one. So follow them. Yeah. You don't need a search warrant to follow somebody. Just go ahead and follow them. Watch them. They'll do it. They're crazy. And this bullshit about, well, he's insane. So what? I don't care. Lock him up. Call it a hospital. Call it a prison. He ain't getting out. What do you want to call it? I don't care. It's not the death penalty. And a little bit amount, you're going to give him Thorazine? Fine. Keep him juiced up. I don't care. This coddling mental illness is just ridiculous. These people are like a rabid dog. Nobody ever sits there and says, oh, is it the dog's fault? Oh, these poor pit bulls are sometimes conditioned. No. We say, kill the dog. Take him. Euthanize him. Take him out. So I don't give a shit about this. Take him out. He's bit 4 people. That's it. Life under a situation like this of a system becomes steadier. It's better. Streets that once triggered, nerves and scared. What if you felt free? What if they were open again? Parents let children play without scanning the horizon. Think about this. There was a time in New York City under Rudy Giuliani when we felt like that. Oh my God, I remember this. You could, nobody would dare touch you. And cops loved it. Elderly residents could walk to the store without gripping their keys as weapons and freaked out. There's a feeling, kind of like a hum, a feeling of stability that fills the public air. Not an oppressive silence, but a gentle, predictable rhythm that kind of makes communities shine brighter. Fear loses its grip because danger loses its foothold. Oh, this is beautiful stuff, my friend. See, the next generation grows up inside this climate of order, and they find it normal to walk through a world without, threats lurking around. They find it natural to trust that grid of protection surrounding them, not as a cage, but a net, a guardian net. And their imaginations grow without the constant pressure of anxiety. Schools thrive because disruptions fade, and it trickles down. There's this holy shit moment. As I told you, I spend a lot of time in my free time watching in amazement as a social observer, looking at all of these new cases of people. They call them Karens going crazy, people who are just losing their minds. And what we're seeing here is something that is systemic. It's not isolated, it's systemic. It is part of a world that is difficult to put into perspective in terms of how dangerous this is. And the attitude is, well, it's accepted. Nothing really happens. Once the word gets out, it stops. People's friendships, if you live in a society like this, deepen because they're not shaped by stress. Society will begin to function not as a battlefield, but as a garden. And like any good garden, it flourishes when you protect it. And the word goes out, don't fool around with us. It's over. The critics who once panicked over loss of privacy will eventually see the broader picture. There was never a choice between total privacy and total surveillance. That choice vanished decades ago. The moment the smartphones entered pockets, and by the way, the surveillance is what you gave up. Cameras covered the city. The real choice will be between being monitored for nothing or being monitored for safety. And one of the reasons why they don't want you to know this is that the cops and the good people don't want you to know how much you are being watched. Between having your data collected with no benefit whatsoever or having your data converted into a shield, which one are you going to pick? Between fear without compensation or stability with some kind of purpose. I'm dead serious. We have to change the way we think. When framed this way, the future looks bright. I think I need shades. I think Timbuk3 said it. The future becomes less frightening, more rational. People naturally prefer systems that work for them rather than systems that simply watch them. Safety is one thing as opposed to just watching me, as opposed to randomness. People prefer predictable order to unpredictable chaos. It's axiomatic. And they prefer knowing that danger is not waiting in the dark. And the technology that once felt intrusive, now, it's here, becomes to feel comforting because it finally performs a service instead of merely gathering. And we can go after these people and we can say, here is where the crime is. And all of a sudden, these people are just watched. And we watch them. And we owe everything from social media to this guy can't fart with us without us finding out about it. And we move in and we take him off the street. And we get rid of him. And here's the deal. If you really want to protest this, don't commit crimes. Don't victimize people. It'll render all this useless. The surveillance isn't going away. I don't feel any need to go out and rob somebody. I don't know what the big deal is. What is this connection with people who want to victimize us? Even the rural regions that traditionally resist technological oversight, they'll begin to adapt once they see the results. When emergency response times drop, when theft become rare, when medical crises are predicted before symptoms appear. See, when you have the case of isolated towns that feel connected to a protective grid rather than you're on your own and you're forgotten. Surveillance becomes not an enemy, but an ally, a silent companion that stands guard without asking anything in return, except what it already receives by default. We have to change the way we think. The truth, my dear friend, is that the modern world has outgrown the fantasy of absolute anonymity. Get over it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. That fantasy collapsed the moment that daily life moved online. But the future, which is really here, but the future offers something far better than any kind of nostalgia. It offers a trade. If citizens must live in a monitored world, and they must, then they will demand value in exchange. Not empty monitoring, not voyeuristic data collection or whatever, but real protection, real prevention, real peace. It is here. We can do it. The future is now, by the way. And it's going to answer this demand, because let me tell you something. We're going to build our systems designed not to intimidate, but to stabilize. I've changed 180 because the facts have changed. The situation has changed. Like John Maynard Keynes said, when the facts change, it changed my opinion. Systems that prevent violence before it begins. Systems that treat society the way a doctor treats a patient, with care, with foresight, with an eye towards, healing rather than punishing. I'm all in. A world, and this is up to you, a world without crime. Imagine that. It won't feel sterile. It'll feel open. You don't even know what that is. It'll feel hopeful. It'll feel like a civilization that finally paid attention and redirected its tools to the ones that really matter. And let me tell you something. A lot of people are going to get very mad. They're going to say this is racist. You're profiling. So what? Who cares? Big deal. I don't care. Call it what you want. What's your point? Because once people taste what life is like without fear, they will go back. And anybody who runs for office that continues that, you're in. Like the DeSantis. Don't ever count him out. DeSantis over somebody like J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is, we'll see. I want this to keep going. We need somebody really hard in there. Not a poor Cash Patel. Oh my God. Don't get me started. Nobody that I know of is ever going to crave the chaos of the past. Nobody's ever going to look long for the days when danger was a companion, a daily companion. They're going to realize, and you're going to realize, that surveillance became tolerable and beneficial, even welcome, because it finally served a purpose. That's the point. It finally protected you and your family, and it finally delivered something worthy of the privacy that it consumed. Okay, what do I get for it? Safety. Show me. The future is not oppressive. It's not bleak. It's the moment when technology stops being a silent witness and becomes a guardian, RoboCop, standing watch, a partner, rather than some overseer or warden, a shield versus a shadow. See? And that world, that's what I want. We won't feel in prison. We'll feel safe and strong and protected by this system that sees us because it cares for us. Not because it seeks to control, but because it seeks to prevent harm. I'm in. Are you in? Of course you're in. And for the first time in history, the watching will come with a promise. You are not alone. You are not unprotected. And the world you walk through will be safer than the one that you remembered in the past. So if people are smart, if they know, they will pursue this. They will do what I'm saying. They will listen to what I'm saying very carefully, and they will change the way they think. Change the way they think. Oh, look at this. Here's Howie Brown. Howie Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. Good to see you, old friend. Thank you, sir. That's what I want to say. That's my thing. I'm not capitulating. I want to win this thing. And you do too, and you know that. Absolutely, you know that. So that's it, my friends. I thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. It's freezing. We're looking for a nor'easter, maybe not in the city, but in upstate. Ooh, it's going to snow like a mofo. Remind you also, my friends, a special preparewithlionel.com. Buy one, gift two. Buy one, gift two. There we go. Christmas special, only available through the holiday season. Go right now to preparewithlionel.com. Nothing says I love you better than preparedness and the ability to weather the storm of some horrible event. All right, my friends, I love you. Please follow this. Tonight, WABC, overnights, 1 to 5, Mrs. L's on for Warrior Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday later. And she is ready for bear. All right? Okay, my friends. We love you. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support. And thank you for being who you are. And thank you for always being a part of our family. For being charter members of the Conspiratorium. Think about that. All right, my friends. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and comment as you see fit.